back in 2009 when we did a few tours and just kind of, man, it was bad times for everybody back then. So we had to really buckle down, get a jobs, and to make the bills, man. Sadus is a nonprofit band. We don't make money. It's just for freaking the fun of it and have for metal.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefy at GhostColdMag.com, and I am joined by Darren Travis of Sadus, thrash metal from the Bay Area. How are you doing, sir?
I got a thing on my screen. I can't get it off.
Yeah, it's gonna
What,
tell
what,
you give the permissions so we can do this chat.
what the,
How's it going?
how you doing?
I'm really
How's it
great.
going, Keith? Nice to meet you, man.
It's so nice to meet you. I've followed the band forever. I am a longtime fan. I live in San Francisco now, but I'm from the East Coast, and I
Oh, cool.
was such a huge fan of Bay Area thrash. Not the only reason I moved to the West Coast. They do love it here. I live right downtown, not too far
Man, you're
from
lucky.
the
That's
Mission.
nice.
I feel lucky. I love it here, and don't believe everything you see on TV. It's not as bad as it seems. I went to the Midwest last week to see Metallica, and people were like, "How is it there? Is it terrible?" I was like, "No, it's great. What are you talking about?" So
San Francisco is freaking awesome.
it's
Come
got
on.
every big city's got drama and problems, but it's a great town. But Sadus, man, long time running band from the East Bay, Antioch. I've been through there. Right next to Concord. And yeah, man, this is kind of a comeback record for the band. The Shadow Inside is coming out on Nuclear Blast Records this week as we're recording this. Tomorrow. This will run sometime in the
It's out
future.
now.
Is it out now? It's already out. There it
It's
is.
out already now.
It's a
The other side of the world, it's
That's
out.
right. It is already
I've already had
tomorrow.
people freaking hit me up. It's like, yeah, party.
Congratulations. I'm sure it feels awesome.
Thank you.
This is a long time coming,
Yeah,
and
today's a good day.
I'm glad, man. I rarely get to talk to somebody when the record is brand new, so this is a whole mood. I love it.
It's been a long journey, man, and it feels good to actually have something out, and something that I truly think is something cool. I try my best.
You did better than that. Let's hear about the last couple of years, because obviously we all went through a hard time in the world. It's hard on the music industry, it's hard on bands and musicians. But the genesis of signing to Nuclear Blast and then making and putting out this record today. Let's hear about that story before we get into the music.
So I've been like, we've all been on hiatus, or except for Steve, who's just a music whore. So it's good. So being in John, I just well, back in 2009 when we did a few tours and just kind of, man, it was bad times for everybody back then. So we had to really buckle down, get a jobs, and to make the bills, man. Say this is a nonprofit band. We don't make money. It's just for freaking the fun of it and have for metal. Basically, was just normal shit, and everybody was just doing their own normal shit. Not that Sadus is never broken up or anything. It was just everybody's doing their own thing. And about 5 years ago, I started just seeing if people were even interested in, just doing that little. People were like, "Man, you got to do a social thing or whatever." And I was like, "All right, I'll freaking do that." I actually got an iPhone, and I was like, "Okay, I got an iPhone," and I started putting riffs on my phone. I was like, "What the fuck? I can have a full studio on my phone, this little thing right here." And I was like, "Okay, this is awesome." And put like some pro fucking killer amp on there and just made a bunch of tunes. I had like 60 songs on there. And I was like, "Man, does anybody want to freaking rock? Let's fucking play some of these tunes I got." And everybody was still busy. And I was like, "Oh man, what a drag." So I've been just kind of writing by myself for the last few years until John was like, "All right, man, let's get it together." And me and John hash it out in this bedroom right here. That's why I got these screens, and we were like, I got some cool things. We set up a little kit right here and wrote 6 songs, and for just they appear on the album, but at the time we didn't know what they were, so we were just, let's just record these songs you have. Made them up. We did the best we could with Juan Urteaga, and I was like very curious to know if anybody would even want to hear it. I'm like, does anybody want to hear some our tunes? And so I was like, let me hit some of my good buddies up. And one of my good friends from back in the day was Monty Connor from Roadrunner Records, and he signed us back in the day. He liked our band. He's always been really cool, and more of a he's really cool. Like he gives me advice on things and all that. So I was like, I turned to him. I was like, man, maybe you know somebody that maybe might want to listen to some of my tunes. And he's like, yeah, me. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, cool. So I sent him those 6 songs, and he was like, holy shit, I think we want to sign this band. And so now we hook up with Nuclear Blast and Monty, and now it's like old times, man. It's like so we needed to make a full album, so we went back to the studio and recorded 4 more tunes, and back with Juan, and I used a different guitar on that one. I started off with the SP, and fucking thing's just killer. And then I got hooked up with Dean, and I used that guitar, and it's fucking just awesome with the Fishman pickups and the, oh my God, more, just freaking goodnesses of metal going on. And then, anyways, so we got those 10 songs, and we're on our way. So it just took a long time to get those to the record label, and, the whole, we went through COVID, but other than that, I mean, it's been all that time.
Well, you certainly made the most of the time off. I'm so glad this record is here, and it's such a killer thing to have. It's been a very good time. We've been very lucky. We've been eating good. We've been eating good as metalheads this year, and
Nice.
a lot of great records. Overkill, Prong. I add this record to that list. To me, and even like it's like you said, you never really broke up. Just family and life and stuff gets in the way, and the world, and it's hard to put these things together. It's hard to do a band, man. It's hard to
It
be
is.
it's hard
It's
to be a
freaking
professional
work, man.
musician. It's a lot of work. Shout out to Monty. We used to see him all the time in New York. So I'm glad that he continues to have faith in you guys. And that's probably how I discovered. I'm pretty sure it was like a comp video or CD of Roadrunner back in the day. That's how I discovered the band originally. Yeah, man. It's the Shadow Inside. It speaks for itself. It's a killer record. I love that you got the Dean. So talk a little bit about your new Dean, man. That's so killer. I'm so stoked to hear that you got some new gear to put on this.
Yeah, they sent me this guitar here, and I really freaking love it. And then Chris sent me an ML, and it's just off the hook, man. I could bash that fucker, and it just stays in tune, man. It's so killer, and that's like really why I play metal, is just to fucking beat on that guitar. So I don't beat on something else, right? You come home from work, and you're all freaking pissed off, and it's like, okay, I'm freaking just beat on the guitar instead of it's a very good anxiety
uh,
medicine.
Definitely, yeah, definitely a good way to get your frustrations out. And as a vocalist, it's also a guitarist. The staying in tune is even especially more important because you have multiple things to be concerned about every song, not just
Right.
playing. So you got to stay one less thing to worry about with keeping in tune. There's so many things to unpack and talk about this artwork, but I did love like getting the promo in my email and seeing the classic logo and this beautiful artwork, man. So I love this artwork so much. It's so creepy and like it's sci-fi without being sci-fi. Is that fair to say? It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very fair to say. It has we have a fine thread that runs through all the words on the Shadow Inside, and we're like, what shall we name it? And thinking of the fine thread that kind of rolls through it, that's kind of the concept of the artwork too. So we told Travis, kind of explained to him. I sent him the words, and I sent him, just my ideas, and we all worked on it together and freaking came up with something really nice. He's a freaking amazing artist, and yeah, we're really happy with it.
He's so good, and his work speaks for itself. He's on every great band's repertoire, and phenomenal guy by all accounts. And yeah, man, just such a great piece of work. Let's talk a little bit about You mentioned Juan, right? Juan Urteaga, who's also a legend, and a Bay. I think he's a Bay Area guy actually. Originally, he's been on everybody's. He produced everybody's records. All the greats. And what's it like working with him? I don't know if you had worked with him in the past on anything, but like for this record, obviously coming back after a long break and having to. You said you had like 60 songs and you got it down to this batch of songs, these 10. So what's it like? Working with Juan, and what does he bring to the table that helps you with your process as a writer?
Well, back in 2006, we used Juan also to do Out for Blood fast, and that's really cool. Almost too fast sometimes, where like you want to like, let me just hold it. Let me just play this one part and he's like, oh, come on, man. So he's super fast. He's super freaking on his shit, and he's ready, like I said, before you are. And we're like, he was the one that was really, when I was by myself, he was the one that was pushing me to fucking Darren, man, you gotta fucking make some music. So I was like, well, let me come in your studio, and I did a little video. I just want to make a little thing. I worked with Grey Haven Music, and they used to do the Zetro shows, and I was on Zetro one day and worked with Grey Haven there, and I was like, hey man, can you come in? And we filmed it like just 3 times live. I did an old Sadus song called In the End, and it's out there somewhere, but just me by myself. And I was like, I just wanted to just make music, and no one was around, and I've never played with anybody other than the guys that are in my band or Sadus, John and Steve and Rob. And Rob's been close to 30 years gone, so it's just been the three of us. And so I didn't really they were busy, and I was like, I'm gonna just do it by myself. And Juan was just a deciding factor. I'm like, he was just always like, fuck, I'll get you a drummer right now. I'm like, well, I don't need a drummer. I just want to, I will eventually, but so then, he's super freaking on my side, and he's been pushing me the whole time. So it's a no-brainer, man. Work with that guy. He loves metal. That's his freaking life.
You love to hear it, of course. And Steve also speaks for himself, as we talked about. Guy's a wizard. I've hung out with him. He's a character. He's funny as hell. He's one of the funniest people in all of music. And
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure when it comes to the tracks, you don't even have to give him any notes. He knows immediately what to lay down as a bassist.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, usually we work together, so on this one, it was hard. That was one of the hardest things for me, to just not have someone to bounce ideas off of all the time. And but John came in and saved the day, and we worked on this pretty hard, and I'm proud of it.
Right on, as you should be. Let's do a little track by track, and I'll shout out the track names, and you just share whatever you want to share about each song. We were just talking about the lead track right before we started, First Blood, which has a music video coming out, right?
Yeah, I just got it or just a little bit ago. Yeah, it's a cool video.
Oh, preview.
Review? Okay, here you go.
Yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, just anything you want to share about the track, first track on the album, lead track. Got to rip it open, like ripping open the Pringles can. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just I had that riff, that opening riff, to it, and just right when the vocals start, that I knew that fucking people were just gonna go sick. You could feel it. It's just fucking fucking with the freaking beat, and started with kind of with that riff and just built it from there. Had a nice. I always had this like very opening thing. I was like thinking I want to just be. It's gonna be like not too heavy, but just just that, just get people going, and then bust into the fast stuff. So kind of building. Just it's I really like this song. I wish I would have had a little bit more time to work on the vocals, but we were just such in a hurry on some of the stuff. That was one of the, especially to be the lead track. I mean, there's some vocals on throughout the album that are really good, and then some of to me, just personally, I'm gonna pick it apart. Of course, it's just being myself.
Yeah, of course. You're always too close to it when it's yours. The second track is Scorched and Burnt.
Scorched and Burnt. Scorched and Burn is it could be what you think it is, the world on fire. And we all went through that. California's burning, and freaking it was all around us. People's shit was just getting destroyed everywhere. But it's not really about that. It's more about, to me, personal people that have freaking scorched and burned you. It's more of on a personal level, and that's why I'm Frank. Anyway, I'm sorry, I gotta turn this shit off, and we got me going.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's a killer. It's a killer track, and I can totally relate to that. By the way, I'm sure a lot of other people will too.
well, but
The
when you first hear it, everybody's like, "Oh, is that about the California fires?" And I was like, "Yeah, maybe it's
not re-
fine."
not
But
really.
the fires the world was burning at the time. I mean, like, everything was on fire. Canada was burning, and it was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's
So it
pretty
just
scary.
added
The
to the goodnesses.
the planet is trying to get rid of us, and we're trying to get rid of us too. So we have our own
Apparently,
problems.
something
Uh,
fucking crazy.
it's the
Need
sickness.
you
It's the
clean your
third one.
forest? No,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
got to do something with it. Got to do something. It's the sickness is the third track.
It's the sickness. And that's another thing where COVID was a freaking big deal. The whole album's kind of personal, but I was not. And of course, I got COVID. Like, I've had COVID 3 times now. That freaking sucks. But the song's not about COVID. It's more about a personal injury that I had myself. It's just more of a personal song to me. And at the time, it was like everybody was getting sick, and I already had it in the tank, and I was like, oh wow, man, my song's gonna be like everybody's got the sickness now. Thought it was just me.
I hope you're better now. But yeah.
I'm trying.
That's it. Was all we can do is try every day.
Yeah.
The fourth track is "Ride the Knife."
Ride the knife. Living on the edge, motherfucker. We ride the knife, and that's like a personal song too, man. We just love at everything that we do and that we love. Fucking living on the edge, man. And I love to ride the knife. And I know people may think it's about drugs or maybe something, but it's more about just being freaking life on the edge. Just both sides of the fence. Which way you going? Oh, fuck, she went on that side of the fence. Oh, where, she's riding, you know what I mean? We're living on the edge, man.
I hear you. Anarchy is the shortest song on the album, I think, or second shortest, and it's right in the middle. So it's like a very good midpoint.
That's coming out tomorrow morning, I believe. We have a lyric video for that, and it just shows like how the world is just freaking going crazy. And you'll get it tomorrow when you see it. You'll be, oh, okay, I got what's going on. I think we all know what that one's freaking. It's just.
I love it. We'll link that in the description as well as also where to buy everything.
Thank you.
All the things as we like to do. The next track, for contrast, a lot longer, is "The Devil in Me."
Devil in Me.
Good song. Good lyrics.
Yeah, we got a fucking badass video for that already in the tank. It's freaking. So we have a video for every song on the record, and I'm not sure how that's gonna be presented. It might just be on the Sadus site on YouTube. All the songs on with lyric videos, and it's all done by the same guy who's done his David, and he's amazing. I don't know, I can't say his last name, but he's from the Ukraine, and the guy's just phenomenal. Every video that we've done so far, and I will give him credit. I just can't freaking think of his last name right now. But the guy, I mean, he's all over our record, and he's really a freaking great artist. We've compiled a video for we just haven't done Pain yet. I just got First Blood, and Pain's the last song. We didn't know if we'd do one for that song, but people seem to be liking it, and I was just like, all right, we'll just have a lyric video for that one too, and kind of maybe make something where it's like something where somebody can watch the whole record with the lyrics and listen to it, and they're all like have a little different turn to them and style. And The Devil in Me is it feeds off of the fucking thing that we have inside us, that fucking urge. And for me, like we were talking earlier before I think we started recording, we were talking about basically the feelings that you have inside, and that fire that burns for why we make metal. And I think I touched on when I have something that's fucking just burning a hole in my gut. I always called it, that's the fucking evil side of me. I gotta take that guy. I gotta shut him down a little bit. And we all have that personal thing. That's why we have metal. That's why we go to shows. That's why everybody fucking just sits together. We all fucking just, when you leave a show, you have a smile. because you released that freaking metal goodness, and that's the devil in me, and that's the devil in everybody. That's like kind of what the song represents, is just that freaking urge for just the badness.
You got to get out the poison any way you can.
Any way we can, man. It's
That's
like,
it.
okay, are you a dirt bike rider, or are you like a freaking football player, or are you we all have our own ways of getting that stuff out of us.
Indeed, indeed. The next track, as you mentioned, is Pain.
Pain's on that same level. It's just you got to feel the pain to live. If you don't feel the pain, you're not living. And that's kind of it was what we're all in pain every day. And some people take it differently. Some people do, uh, drugs to get away from the pain. Some people have anything that they could use to just take their mind off it. And I've had the same thing where you don't really know what to do. And that's kind of what that song kind of touches on. It's just a feeling of if you don't feel the pain, then you're really not living. So you gotta fucking just feel it and fucking just accept it. I don't know if that made sense, but
And
that's
a
kind of
lot.
like,
It's heavy. Again, very relatable for most people. We're getting down to the end here. Last few tracks. No Peace is the next one.
yeah, No Peace. That was just a ripper, man. I love that. That song challenged people to freaking play that song on YouTube or whatever. It's fun. It's a well-rounded song. Just freaking, I mean, it's just like you just all over guitar, man. It's fucking fun. And that song's more like it was just that same inner feeling of I just don't have peace, and I'm trying to do my best to freaking get through the shit. It's not really about like Ukraine war or anything. Like I was looking, and I was like, I see the world's freaking on a lot of people. Oh, is it about the war? I'm like, no, it's not really. I'm about no peace. It was more like an attitude thing. I'm not gonna take it. I'm gonna take over this fucking shit. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna show no motherfucking mercy, no motherfucking peace.
Nice. I love it. A very appropriate next to last song title, New Beginnings, which is very fitting for this release.
New beginnings. Yeah, it's just something that to throw a stick in your spokes, and highlights the bass, and my freaking the sound is, it was just a tripping song. I wanted to put something that was different and incorporate it into the shadow inside and make it all just one piece. But you have to split them, on the CD or whatever. So no, we were like, okay, maybe people won't want to hear that trippy shit, and they maybe want to just hear the the shadow inside song. So we made it into two songs, and it actually is the beginning to the whole thing. Like it just takes you on a little ride and a journey for the shadow inside, which is like a touch again. It's that thread going throughout the album of what we feel inside, and our inner personalities that we have that we just keep to ourselves.
It's heavy and very fitting to have the title track last in this case. I know a lot of bands put the title track first, but I like the build up to this journey the album kind of takes you on. I'm digging it a lot. Here's a fun thing for you. Even if like I said, comeback record of sorts, but the band has never really been gone. But at the same time, I feel like I always say this about like Motorhead and Misfits are bands that like all punks and metalheads can agree on, and I feel like I see not just out here, my whole travels around the world. I always see people with Sadus patches and Sadus shirts and talking about this band, and it's a band that I think everybody agrees on and digs. So I was wondering if that ever struck you, the appeal of the band this many years later, 30, 40 years into since you started this band, that people dig it everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't really have, I know that, we have a following kind of a sort, but it's normally just, very small, not a big deal. I can tell you a little story. Is like before I started doing the social media crap, now Nuclear Blast does it for me, so that helps me out a bit. But anyways, somebody called my house phone, and I was like, my house phone is in my wife's name, and it never rings, and I was like, we all, like, you used to have a house phone, but I don't have it anymore. But the house phone ring, it was like fucking 11 o'clock at night or something weird, and it was these people just calling, hey man, fucking, rousting me. And I was like, holy shit, how you get my number? My wife's name on my own house phone. And they're like, you gotta fucking come play New York, man. And I was like, New York? Some dudes from New York were just fucking somehow got my number, and they're like, please, man, we're a promotion agency and we want to represent you to come to New York. And I was like, oh, that's nice. You got to make a freaking man, you gotta make a fucking website, bro. And I was like, oh, okay, nice, man. I'm going to bed. Have a nice day. But he was telling me at the time, and I had no idea. I'm just working. I've been just put my nose to the grind, and people are like, no, man, people dig Sadus. I was like, all right, that's cool. I appreciate it, man. It's amazing that people would still enjoy what we did so long ago, and I appreciate it so much, man. And it gives me a freaking nice little outlet for art. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you motherfuckers.
Nice, man. We appreciate you, man. I'm so glad you guys came back with this record, and I hope you get to take it out on the road maybe and play all over the world. Maybe places this record will drop and people will demand their Sadus like they used to demand their MTV, but not anymore. So hopefully they'll request the band and we'll get you out on some of these tours and festivals. Would be neat, you know.
That'd be great. I'm sure, it's bound to, it's in the works actually. So we'll see how that goes.
Well,
Thanks, Keith,
we'll
man.
be paying attention, man. Darren from Sadus, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. And again, congratulations on the new album, The Shadow Inside. We'll link everything in the description where people can find your stuff. And again, keep your head up. Maybe I'll bump into you around the bay at a show or something, and we'll say what's up. Have a beer.
That would be awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much, man. Thanks for your support. Thanks, everybody. And enjoy the album. Let me know. Hit me up. Let's go.